Welcome to the Missionary Profile Podcast, where we delve into the amazing stories of real-world missionaries dedicated to spreading the message of Christ's love and fulfilling the Great Commission. In each episode, we'll explore the lives of missionaries who were leading people to the Lord. Join Paul now as he introduces the next guest.
Welcome to the Missionary Profile Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Douglas. Today we are here with Brother Dalton Grovenstein, pastor. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in this world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, well, we're going to discuss a little bit about what GM Baptist Outreach does. But first, can you just give us an idea of who is Pastor Dalton Grovenstein and a little bit of history of who you are?
For sure. Yeah, so we planted a church here in Nahunta, Georgia, which is about 30 minutes outside of Brunswick, Georgia, if anybody's familiar with that area. Nahunta is just a poke and plum town. You poke your head around the corner, you're plumb out of town. There ain't. It's a small town. But we started a church here about 6 years ago. We started the Eternal Life Baptist Church, independent Baptist church, and just started by faith, just me and my wife in a storefront, and the Lord has blessed. We're building a new sanctuary right now, and it's exciting. God's blessing. A little bit about us as far as that goes. So we still currently pastor, just celebrated 6 years as a church in September. GM Baptist Outreach is something we've been operating for about 3 years or so.
Great. Well, let's go into what's the story behind GM Baptist Outreach, and what was the spark that led to the ministry's formation, and how has the mission evolved since that launch?
For sure. So when we started the church, just kind of and I'll try and just give it to you in a quick nutshell. When we started the church, we started about 6 months before COVID. So COVID hit about 6 months after we started the church. 2020 is kind of when that thing was just ramping up. It was towards the end of 2020. I was working a full-time job. It was like a night shift kind of job. We never went on deputation or anything to start the church. Not that I'm against it. We just never did. And so my wife got pregnant with our first baby at the time, and we just started the new church plant. COVID was happening. I was working night. It was just crazy. Everything was crazy. Schedule was crazy. And it was through kind of that process the Lord was kind of leading us to find a different job. That's really what it all started with. I was looking to find a different job that wasn't night shift, where I could better pastor and better be there for my family, And so it was through that process, though, the Lord led us to a digital marketing academy where we paid a lot of money, thousands of dollars, to learn digital marketing and learn about software and systems, things of that nature, for small business owners, to serve small business owners and help small business owners grow their businesses and sell their products. And the whole goal with it all was I was just going to start a business, a digital marketing agency, working with business owners, allowing us to provide for us and not have to work night shift. That's how it all started. That's the background.
Right.
So we came out
Wow.
of that. We started a business. It was a digital marketing agency called Grovenstein Marketing LLC. My last name, just marketing. We were working with business owners, and the Lord really blessed it. We were serving business owners, helping them grow their businesses, reach their communities. That was, around the end of 2020. Did that to about 2022. And the Lord blessed. We had several. We were working with lots of business, and I say I meant several business owners. We still have several business owners we work with now. We don't really work with them anymore, but that's how it all kind of birthed and began. And it was 2022, though, is when I say it dawned on me. It was really the Holy Ghost leading us in the
Right.
direction we're in. But I kind of realized that a lot of the stuff we were doing for business owners, as far as getting business into their doors and making sales, was a lot of the same stuff we could do to the church where I pastored.
Yeah,
And so
right.
we started converting a lot of the ideas and philosophies we were using into our church's outreach, and the Lord really blessed. We started seeing lots of visitors from it. Started doing it for other churches I knew, and the Lord blessed. They started seeing lots of visitors. And so we basically was like, man, our heart is in the ministry. We'd rather work with churches. So we converted the whole business over to just working with churches, changed the name and everything to GM Baptist
Wow.
Outreach. Started working with just churches, and the Lord's just blessed from there. I think currently we have around 190 something churches we serve all across the country, rural areas,
Wow.
populated areas. We also work with missionaries around the world. We have churches in Canada, churches in Ireland, churches in England, churches in New Zealand. and we just signed up our first church in Australia, like a month and a half ago.
Wow.
And the Lord's
Praise
really
the
been
Lord.
blessing it in Australia. So he's our first church over there, and I'm like, man, we got to get other churches in Australia because this is like really working
Yeah.
well for you. And
Amen.
so that's how GM Baptist Outreach got started. And that's kind of where we are today. Did that answer all the questions you just asked there?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was very good. I appreciate all those answers, and what a great history that brings, to the ministry, and just God working in the ministry, and God, God is in control of everything, but you got to let him, give him the reins.
For sure. And
So
can I also mention
yeah,
this? I talk
sure.
about it all the time with even a guy in our church who's been there since we started doing the marketing thing when we were working with business owners. Like we actually laugh about it, but it's really amazing how, God's plans are so much ahead of ours. Like
Mm.
I don't think it was a coincidence we came across a digital marketing academy. And I'm telling you, we spent like 10,000 something dollars just to go through this academy thing to learn about digital marketing. And we thought we were doing it to start a business to provide for my family while I pastored. That's what we thought. But yeah, looking back, it's like it just wasn't a coincidence. It's like God just knew what he was
Right.
doing, orchestrating everything. And so it was one of those things where it's just amazing how God's hand works in our lives, and we just don't see it till years later what he was setting up. So
Yeah, I've heard the phrase, the more you pray, the more things seem to be coincidences. So keep on praying and keep on asking the
yeah.
Lord for direction, because those are not coincidences. Those are the Lord leading the way. So amen. Well, you have like a flagship product that you have. Now, what exactly is digital tract ministry, and how does it differ from traditional outreach methods like printed tracts or like door-to-door evangelism?
Yeah, no, great question. So, GM Baptist Outreach is essentially the name of our company, of who we are as a team. But within GM Baptist Outreach, there's a lot of things we do digitally for churches. I mean, stuff with websites, all kinds of stuff. But at the heart of everything we do, which is really all we do, other stuff is just byproducts that will help churches with if they need help with them. But at the heart of everything GM Baptist Outreach does is what's called the Digital Tract Ministry. So the Digital Tract Ministry is basically a ministry that we are pushing and helping churches set up in their churches. And the Digital Tract Ministry is basically a ministry they set up, just like you would have a door knocking ministry or any kind of ministry you're doing. The digital track ministry is the same thing. It's a ministry set up to actually reach your community and get people in the doors of your church. And the digital track ministry is like it is in the name, it's digital. And so the way it works, and I'm sure you'll get into some of the nitty gritty details of this in a little bit, but the way it works is it's a strategy essentially where we're trying to put people from the community into the doors of the church, and it's a digital strategy. We utilize paid advertising to do it. There's some paid advertising involved where we'll pay digital platforms to, kind of interact that first interaction with your community. And people will plan visits from those digital platforms. And then, the digital track software, there's a software for the digital track ministry. The software basically allows you to launch these ads, manage these ads, has the automated texting and everything. Everything in the digital track ministry is done from this software. But in a nutshell, without me going into a lot of all the details of it, unless you start asking about the details, you run these. We teach you, and whether we teach you or we do it for you, whatever it might be, there's a paid advertising piece that people will plan visits to the church, whether it's for every Sunday services or for special day events. And then as people plan visits, there's an automated texting piece that will then text these people, reminding them of the service. And it's all digital, it's all automated, reminding them of the service they plan for. And then after that service is over, there's a whole digital follow up piece afterwards to follow up with those who don't show up. But you'll have a lot of people that do show up from just the ads and the automated text reminder piece. So, in a nutshell, the digital track ministry is kind of that's an overview of it. And I can pull up a diagram. I don't know if you want me to pull up a little diagram. I could pull up a diagram of what it looks like.
Yeah,
But
let's see what it looks like. Let's take a glance at what it looks like, and we'll get on to the next question. But I want people to understand what you're saying. So yes, please do that. Let's see.
yeah, let me pull up this diagram. It'll kind of help give an overview of it. This is kind of the diagram we'll kind of show people when we do our presentations, just so people can see a visual, because visuals are always so much better. All
Right.
right, you see my screen right now?
I cannot see your screen. Let me see if I can switch over to the other view. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, so yeah, I should be sharing my screen, so hopefully everybody
Yeah,
can
it was
see
on
it.
another screen, so we're good. Yeah,
So yeah, so this is just kind of an overview of the process of the digital track ministry. You got your paid advertising here. As these ads are running, they're reaching hundreds of people a day with an invitation to the church. People plan a visit. Then you've got the automated text reminders, texting them, reminding them of the service leading up to that day they plan for, whether it's a special day event or it's an every Sunday service. You'll have lots of visitors on this day just from your ads, typically with these automated text reminders. Now, keep in mind the
sure,
power of this is really the automated text reminders. The ads is the kind of the vehicle, but the automated text reminders is what actually drives them into the door. And
sure.
obviously, with God's blessing, God has to give the increase. And then you got the
Agreed.
church service here. And after the service is over, those who visited have a follow up process. Those who didn't visit have a follow up process. And then there's a whole long term process for all the people who planned visits who never showed up. There's a long term process we teach in this ministry where churches will follow up with these people all throughout the year through the software, through texting and emailing. That we have a whole strategy built for that. And so as churches set this ministry up, they're running these ads throughout the year, they're building a bigger list, and it kind of compounds on each other and gets bigger and better the longer churches set this ministry up. But in a nutshell, that's an overview of the digital track ministry. I mean, there's a lot more nuances and details to it, but hope that kind of answers
Sure.
the question on visually what the ministry looks like set up for a church.
Yeah, and so just by looking at that graphic, it pops into my head that this is a type of customer relationship manager. So you're actually capturing information that you can reuse in the future and reach out to these people for maybe a Sunday, a special Sunday or an anniversary or things like that. You can reach out to them over and over again.
For sure. Yeah, you're basically when you're utilizing these ads, you're reaching hundreds of people. But yeah, as people plan visits, you are capturing their information, name, phone, and email, and you're now building a database of an audience who has showed interest in your church. They live in your local area because that's where these ads are running. And so you have now a local audience that is kind of captured that you can follow up with these people all the time for different events, special day events, new sermon series you're starting, new small groups you're starting. And yeah, you can
Yeah,
engage with them, text them, and it's that relation. You'll be amazed at the people who will show up weeks, months, even years later, all because churches faithfully stay in contact with these people. They'll get a
right.
message in a season of their life where God has their hearts tenderized, and they finally show up to church.
Yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
so yeah,
Well, why? So people are going to ask this question. Church leaders are going to ask this question. Why should today's churches consider digital outreach as part of their evangelistic strategy? And what are the biggest cultural or technological shifts driving this? So we know with Mission Display that, people have a device in their hand all the time. So we need to get the missionaries on to a screen where people can interact with it. What's the biggest cultural or technological shifts driving the need to use digital outreach tools?
for s- for sure, yeah. So no, that's a great question. I think in a nutshell, anybody can see that this whole world is digital and it's going digital and it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
not
right,
going
right.
anywhere. When it comes to social media, last we checked, statistically now, this is statistically, the average person spends 2 to 3 hours a day scrolling on Facebook, which is absolutely terrible. There's nothing good about
Yeah,
that, and we're not
no,
boasting about that.
right,
But that is where people are, and that's where people are always going to be, and it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. People are going to be on social platforms. They're going to be on digital platforms more and more. And so we want to try and reach them where they're at. And when you're running these digital ads, you are reaching hundreds of people right where they are, people that you won't be able to reach door knocking. There's a lot of in rural areas like we are. There's fences and there's dogs and there's places we can't get door knocking.
right, right,
There's apartment complexes in bigger cities that are locked. They're gated. You can't get in there door knocking. So we're not against door knocking. We believe in door knocking. We still do door knocking at the church where I pastor. Digital outreach, though, is going to get bigger and bigger, though, because you're going to be able to reach a larger audience in your community digitally than you'll ever be able to do physically.
right, right. Okay, well, let's shift gears a little bit and somebody that is first time visitor. So how does your software help churches attract first time visitors? It's basically kind of walk us through a real example of how a church might use the tools for like a Sunday outreach.
Oh, so you're talking about more of like, hey, they visit the church. How does the software help? connecting with a first-time visitor that visited and not beforehand. Is that what you're
No,
referring to?
no. So the software is designed to help facilitate the acquisition of people that will eventually visit the church, right? So how does the software help attract a first-time visitor? So like, what is the value in getting the software if you're trying to get a first-time visitor in the church? Does that make sense?
A little bit, yeah. So I mean, this.
How would a church use the tools? So kind of an example, just kind of a walkthrough. How would they use those tools? I know you showed us the demo of the screen, but say you just want to explain really quickly, these are the steps. How's
Yeah, for
that?
sure. So that diagram, that whole diagram I showed y'all is all done in the software. So the launching of the paid ads, all of that is done from the software. You build out these
Great.
ads, launch them from the software. And our team, we're actually working on templatizing ads to where people can actually look at a pre-built ad that we use for churches and they can just click on it, put their church's
All right.
information in and launch the ad.
Excellent.
But yeah, the ads will be launched from the software. The automated text reminders are in the software. They're already all pre-built too. We have the whole digital track ministry pre-built in every software account, where automated text reminders for special day events or for every Sunday service ads, they're all pre-built. You just edit the text messages
There we go.
to say what you want them to say. So yeah, I mean, the software does all of it. The bulk texting, the automated texting, the ad launching, it's literally all done in the software. And the benefit of being on the software is you have our team who is very proficient in this whole ministry. We've been doing it for years. Like this isn't something we just started last week or last night. So like our team looks over people's ads. We look over everything you're doing in your digital track ministry. Whenever you have need help from us, support with us, like we're very hands on. And so you have access to our knowledge and our expertise when you're utilizing the software. But yeah, the whole ministry is done from the software.
Okay, great. All right. You, so this is not I mean, it's probably a easy. Now, full disclosure, I use Digital Track University. I use GM Baptist Outreach for mission display and to manage our customers and things like that. How how easy or how difficult is it to actually do these things? And you offer coaching through Digital Track University. There's another angle to what you do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so at GM Baptist Outreach we have two programs, and I'm not gonna like break them down unless you ask later on, but like we do it all for churches that need a digital track ministry that want to do it, but they want us to do it all for them. They don't want to do anything. Yes, we do offer that.
Okay,
But one of the things that we really push is kind of that where churches can bring it in-house as a ministry and kind of do it themselves, just utilizing the software. And so that's what you were referencing to that Digital Track University coaching program. And I think kind of the question you're asking is how difficult is it for someone to learn the software and to do this? And the best way
right.
I can answer that is this right here. So number one, we're very hands-on customer support, helping you, making sure you're up and going. But
Good.
number two, we have pastors that are in their 60s, like late 60s, using the software by themselves for
Wow.
their churches. So it
Yeah, that's
really
great.
we it obviously if you're a little bit more tech savvy, always helps. But if
Sure.
you're not tech savvy at all, that doesn't limit you from doing the digital track ministry. Because we have some churches that if the pastor's not, they'll have someone in the church manage this ministry. So if you have someone younger or someone more tech savvy that you can put over this ministry, they can have their own login credentials into your software and manage the whole ministry for y'all.
Oh,
Yeah, so you can have multiple staff members in the software account. So anybody in your church can manage this ministry. So like when you go through our coaching program, that's what we teach churches is you can bring
awesome.
it in-house as a ministry and give some people in your church management over this ministry where they're doing something for Jesus Christ in your church, managing this
Right.
as an outreach ministry. So it doesn't have to be the pastor that manages it. It can be anybody in the church that's tech savvy. But even if you have
Amen.
nobody, like we have some churches, they're like our congregation is 70 and older. Like that's all our congregation is. We have no
Right.
tech savvy people. The pastor's like in his 50s. He's the youngest guy. And he's always like, could I do it myself? And the answer is absolutely you could.
Yeah, that's great because that's a question that we get asked a lot too. How easy to use is the software? Well, okay, so let's switch gears and go into more of a how has it worked out? What kind of results have churches seen after implementing the outreach, the digital outreach strategies? And is there a story that you can share about some growth that happened as a direct result of Digital Track University or digital GM Baptist Outreach. Sorry.
Yeah, digital tract ministry. Yeah, it can be. So, yeah, no, for sure. So, I mean, our church where I pastor, we have several members, solid, faithful members from our digital tract ministry. But yeah, I mean, I encourage y'all to go to our YouTube channel. You know, we have a YouTube channel, GM Baptist Outreach. It has lots of testimonial videos where I interview pastors that have the digital tract ministry set up in their church, the experience they're having with it, how many visitors they're seeing. We have 60 plus 5-star Google reviews on Google. So if you wanted to go read some of those reviews on Google to learn about what pastors are doing, like we're not hidden under a rock. You can definitely find
Right.
testimonials and case studies
Same.
where we interview pastors. And so, yeah, I mean, we have lots of them though on our YouTube channel where churches have seen 50, 60 first-time visitors to one service,
Wow.
you know, from their
Wow.
digital track ministry. And we see churches that run them consistently every Sunday that see 1 to 2 families every single Sunday when they do it weekly, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
we have testimonies like that all the time. But I mean, if y'all want some like big, if you want some big testimonies, I mean, yeah, we have like some interviews on our YouTube channel of churches that have seen over 100 first-time visitors to one service just from their digital track ads and
Wow.
stuff.
That's huge. What a blessing.
The biggest we've ever seen, we just did a case study. AJ Nichols, associate pastor at Blessed Oak Baptist Church. I want to say the pastor's name is Jerry Ross, I believe.
Oh
And
yeah,
they
there's
just
a yeah. I
yeah,
know Brother
Jerry
Jerry Ross.
Ross. They've been using the digital track ministry with us for a long time. AJ Nichols is his associate pastor, and I hope they
Amen.
don't mind me asking because I done did an interview with him anyways on our
Yeah, I'm
YouTube
sure
channel,
they'll
so
be
it's not
fine
like
with it.
this is hidden. But one of our latest interviews we did was with them, and AJ Nichols is the one I did the interview with, and he was telling us how they just did a special day event a couple months ago, and they had 279 first time visitors, and they said they had
Wow.
over 200 they could track back to their digital track ministry ads. So that was the biggest results we've ever seen. They've seen a little over 200 first time visitors. Well, here's what's very cool about that though. And he talks in that interview. I encourage y'all to watch the interview. He talks about the hospitality setup they had where they were really trying to greet these visitors and stuff. And he said every Sunday since then, which I did an interview with him like a month and a half or 2 months or something after that special day event they did with their ads and stuff. He said every Sunday since then they have seen more first time visitors just from those ads from him following up with the people who didn't show up on that day.
Wow.
And he
Yeah.
said they averagely ran, I want to say it was like 215 to 220 every Sunday morning. Before that, he said after that special day event, he said for the past, I guess, month and a half to 2 months since they've done it, they have been running around 250 to 260. So they've seen like a consistent member attendance of like 40 to 50 more people every Sunday ever since that special day event.
It's
So
huge. Yeah.
that's just one testimony we just did, and you can watch it. So I'm not lying about any of that. You can watch the interview from his
Yeah.
own mouth, and that's
I,
probably the one of the most amazing ones we've ever seen as far as attendance wise, visitor wise. That first, you know.
yeah. And I watch the shorts and the reels and the videos and things like that just to get and just to be encouraged and to be able to share this with confidence. But you do a great job with your videos and having important things that people really need to understand in your videos. It's not just a bunch of fluff. It really is a blessing to watch and learn what you're doing with GM Baptist Outreach. It's powerful. So praise the Lord for that. How so you touched on how you help churches that don't have a large staff or tech experience. That was a good go back and listen to that, folks, if you missed that. Question: do you see digital outreach replacing traditional methods, or is it best when paired with personal and local evangelism? How should churches balance both, in your opinion?
Yeah. So my thoughts is no and yes. So no in the sense of this. I don't think it's going to replace traditional methods. Like I really in-person witnessing is the best
Yeah,
witnessing you'll ever do. Being in face to
right.
face with somebody, having a relationship built with somebody is the best evangelism you'll ever do. So absolutely, in the coffee shop, in the gas station, tell people about Jesus, invite them to church. And when it
Yeah,
comes to
amen.
traditional methods, of door knocking, no, we don't want it to replace door knocking. Now, and I'm about to answer the yes piece that I mentioned, but we don't want it to replace door knocking. I believe door knocking is powerful. I believe it's biblical.
Yes,
I think the book of Acts, they went from house to house teaching and preaching the Lord Jesus. Door
they
knocking is a
did.
great thing to do, and we still do it at our church. So we're for door knocking. So I don't believe it's going to replace it to where those things aren't needed no more. But I
Sure.
do believe that as technology continues to advance, I do believe and we already get this testimony all the time. I do believe digital outreach is going to be better than door knocking and traditional outreach. You're going to see more visitors from it over time. And I think you already kind of do now, at least from the churches we talk to. We have churches tell us all the time it's the best outreach they've ever done. And like literally, like door knocking wise, we went door knocking for a long time, talked to a lot of churches. Very rarely do you see churches see 200 first time visitors from door knocking.
No.
Okay. So what I'm saying is this, door knocking is great, winning people to Christ, keep doing it. Don't stop doing it. But I do think digital outreach will start being a more popular method of seeing more visitors that churches will focus on over time. But I don't think it's going to do away with door knocking. I just think it's going to be compared together. It's going to work together. And let me also say this, digital outreach also creates a ripple effect that that
Yeah.
impacts all of your other outreach. Like literally when we go door knocking, there's hardly a week that goes by because we've been running these ads for our church for probably the past 2.5 years. And there's hardly a week that goes by we don't go out door knocking. Somebody doesn't say this. I know you. I saw you on Facebook. Or I'll be in the gas station and somebody be like, "Do you pastor down the road?" I'll be like, "I mean, it depends on what church you're talking about." And they'll be like, "I think I saw you on the internet." And it creates a ripple effect to where literally
Sure.
all of your other outreach and all of your other witnessing is just that much more powerful because you built
It's
that
amplified.
brand to
Yeah.
where people know who you are in your community because you're reaching
Right.
hundreds of people a day with this stuff. So, you know.
Yeah, I tell churches all the time that their website is really the doorway to their church, excuse me. Their website is the doorway to their church. And so how if a church or ministry is looking to partner with GM Baptist Outreach, how do they begin the process and how would you direct them as far as a step by step? Here's how we can get started.
Yeah. So number one, I would encourage you to go watch our demo video. So you can find that from our company website, and Brother Paul might drop a link into it where they can
Yeah.
sign up for a demo video. I encourage y'all to watch our demo video. That's going to be a video of me breaking down in detail what the digital tract ministry looks like, set up for a church. I also break down our programs as far as financial wise, what they look like, what it looks like to have this ministry operating in your church. I break down all of that in the demo video. So the demo video is free. Just sign up for it and watch it. It's literally like a 30-minute video, maybe even less. So if you're wanting to get started with GM Baptist Outreach or to learn more about it, I think that's the first step. I encourage y'all to watch that demo video. I mean, you can also book a discovery call with us, and I'll do a live presentation with you or you and your staff. You can do that, and that's perfectly fine. But it always helps when churches watch the demo video first, where they can have an
Yeah.
understanding of what the digital tract ministry looks like. So that's number
Right.
one. I'd encourage you to do that if you've never seen our demo video. Sign up for that and watch that. When it comes to after that, yeah, it just depends on what your goals are. If y'all want to bring it in-house as a ministry and do it yourself, or if y'all have the financial capabilities to pay our team to manage it all for you. It just depends on where y'all want to go with that direction. Either one of them is great directions to go in, but after you watch the demo video, that will give you the next steps of whether you want to do the university, the coaching route, or the doing for you route. But the next steps above all, I think, is just watching that demo video to get a better understanding of everything.
All right. Well, why don't you share with us how people can get in touch with you, the website, and maybe contact information?
Yeah, so our company website's gmbaptistoutreach.com. You can just search it up on Google and you'll find us. You can go to our
Mhm.
homepage, yeah, and on that homepage you can see a lot of our different programs, learn about our software. But there's also on that homepage it's going to be a free strategy you can sign up for. That's our demo video. You can sign up from our company website. We also have a direct like kind of website landing page that I'll send Brother Paul that you can kind of sign up with in the description.
Sure.
And that's just a page that takes you straight to the demo video sign up, and that way you don't have to navigate any other stuff. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, so that's how you'll find us online. You can also go to our YouTube channel, watch a lot of our videos and stuff. But when it comes to getting a hold of us, you can book a call with us from that website or sign up for our demo video and message us through our chat widget there. Or you can email me, Dalton at gmbaptistoutreach.com. You can always email me any questions you have. I'd love to chat. So that's how you can kind of get a hold of us there.
Yeah, it's amazing the open door that you leave for people that are, your subscribers and that I've always had a great experience with you and you've always tried to find time for me. And I think that goes without saying. You'll do the same for any other churches or any other ministries that would like to capitalize on this product. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Actually, I learned, even though we've been friends and know each other. I
Yeah.
learned a few things today that I didn't know, and I appreciate you opening up like that. And I hope that folks that listen to the Missionary Profile podcast will understand, especially pastors that hear us on Just Jesus Radio or on Landmark Baptist Radio, that they would reach out to Brother Dalton and just kind of get an idea of what he could do to help your ministry. Of course, watch that video at gmbaptistoutreach.com or set up your video demo, and you'll learn a lot. You've got to find the people where they're at, and everybody is on platforms. And if the church doesn't get to those platforms, we're going to miss the boat again. So let's save souls for let's help get souls saved for Jesus and open up those doors, and just be faithful and mindful of what God is doing right now in our lifetime with
Yeah.
digital technology. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
If I may saying something before you go, we
Sure.
go, just mentioning about missionaries, like, the digital tract ministry can work for missionaries around the world too. So depending
Yeah.
on what country you're in, you can set the same ministry up in your country. Sometimes you can't get a phone number for certain countries. So like there's churches in Ireland we work with that they have to use WhatsApp. So, but all the
Yep.
automated messaging can be done in WhatsApp, through the software. So there's literally, if you're a missionary as well that listens to this ministry can be set up really any country around the world. As long
Yeah.
as there might be some restrictions in like maybe China, but if
Well,
you're
yeah.
anywhere else, you can normally do this.
Yep. Yeah.
But
So
yeah, go ahead.
sometimes people don't realize that a missionary is a pastor or is a
Yeah,
preacher of the word of God, and they need people to get into their church too. And it's just amazing. I mean, I get calls from Pakistan on WhatsApp. I get calls from South Africa, East Africa all the time. Hey, brother pastor, can you help us with our ministry? They have phone access and they can be reached also. So yeah, give GM Baptist Outreach a shout if you're a missionary, for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, and I just want to handle one objection. I just want to give one objection. I know this. I think it was part of the question earlier or something maybe, but I think I missed it. But I do want to mention this because one objection we get is people are scared of social media.
Yeah.
There's like a stigma in it. I get it. It can be used for bad, but it can be used for good. But when it comes
Right.
to an objection we get is like, well, this ain't the Bible way. The Bible way is going house to house. The reason they went house to house in the Bible way is because that's all they could do. Paul
That's
wrote
right.
letters and sent them by mail because he could. They went
Right.
house to house because he could. They didn't have social media. I guarantee if you told Paul today, hey, listen, you can spend a couple $100 and you can reach hundreds of people every single day with the message of the gospel. I guarantee you Paul would be taking up a love offering.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
He'd probably quit the tent ministry and go right into the digital
For
track
sure.
ministry.
And so the aspect is that's an objection. People are like, well, we're just going to do the Bible method. The Bible method's house to house because that's all they could do. They went to the
Right.
marketplaces and preached publicly because that's all they could do. And
Yeah.
that's what they could do back then. They did everything they could for the ministry of the word to reach people with the word of
That's
God.
right.
And I think we're responsible the same with today. Everything we can do to reach people in our community, I think we ought to try and do it. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. Don't miss the boat. Miss the boat on the radio. Miss the boat on TV. Don't miss the boat on social. It's just let's get ahead of the curve.
for
So
sure.
thank you again. I appreciate you. We'll call it a day. But folks, please like and subscribe to the Missionary Profile Podcast. If you have any questions, you can reach me. My email is paul@missiondisplay.org, and we hope to see you in GM Baptist Outreach soon. All right.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Missionary Profile Podcast. We appreciate you staying with us until the end and hope you found inspiration in the incredible stories we shared today. Your support means the world to us as we continue to shine a light on the remarkable work of missionaries around the globe. Stay tuned for more inspiring episodes and visit us online at missionaryprofile.org. Until next time, keep connecting with your supported missionaries, and may the Lord guide and direct your journeys.